Welcome in to the 301 show. We have a special episode here today. This will be a preview and a predictions video of the 2026 Boys High School Hockey State Tournament. That is happening here this week. It will start on Wednesday. We'll do our predictions and preview show here, and then we will do a recap and prediction review show once it is done. But the brackets came out yesterday as I am recording this. I'm recording this on a Sunday. It came out yesterday on Saturday, and we will go over each of the first round matchups, and then we will go over or just how each seed did in the regular season and kind of why they deserve to be that seed in the tournament for both single A and double A. And then we will go over the first round matchups, what the what it looks like, just kind of what those preview looks like there. And then we'll reveal our at the end we'll review our brackets for both Class A and Double A. I'm going to do all of Class A first and then all of Class Double A at the end. So you get all of the reviews, matchup previews, and the predictions for Class A, and then all of that for Class Double A after that. So if you like this, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more content like this and about the pro teams here in Minnesota, and leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win each championship for both Class A and Double A. Let's get into it.
From the land of 10,000 lakes and just as many heartaches, welcome to the 301 show. We're here to celebrate, commiserate, and maybe, just maybe, see a Minnesota team win it all. Whether you're dreaming of a Vikings Super Bowl, reliving the glory days of the Twins, or still recovering from the Timberwolves roller coaster, we've got you covered. This is the 301 show, where the North remembers and the passion never fades.
All right, on to single A here. The one seed in Class Single A is Hibbing Chisholm. They're out of Section 7A, so that one of the two northern sections here in the state. They are on their way out of Section 7A. They beat Ely 14-1. They beat Proctor 10-1. And then instead of playing a Hermantown, they played the team that beat Hermantown, Cloquet Esco Carlton, and won 3-2 in overtime to earn a trip to the state tournament. In the regular season, they including the 3 playoff wins, they finish or are at this point have a record of 24-2-2. They have 5.43 goals for per game. They have a 2.18 goals against per game, and their power play so far is 25 of 86 for 29.1%. Their penalty kill has killed 60 out of 73 possibilities for an 82.2%. They are led by the Swanson brothers, the Tate and Cole Swanson. Tate had 27 goals for 41 assists and 68 points. Cole had 28 goals for 33 assists for 61 points. And Isaiah Hildebrandt was the third leading scorer on the team with 17 goals, 38 assists for 55 points. Gavin Lamphere was in net for most of the season. He played 28 games. He went, 26 games. He went 22, 2-2 on the year. He had a 2.22 goals against average and a 919 save percentage with one shutout on the year. So that is Section 7A champion, the number 1 seed in Class Single A, Hibbing Chisholm. The 2 seed, ironically, out of Section 2, is the Delano Tigers. Delano beat Waconia 6-0 in the first round. They beat Orono in the second round of the Section 2A playoffs. They won that game 7-3. And then they beat the Blake Bears, winning that game 6-2. So they took control of every game in the section playoffs that they played. And they've got a record of 22-4-2 on the season. They have 5 goals. They're averaging 5 goals for per game in their game so far this year. They're averaging 2.18 goals against per game. Their power play is sitting at 27.3% for 24 out of 88 total power plays. They have killed off 85 out of 102 penalties that they have taken. That is 83.3%. The Tigers are led by the Hallinans and Brady Kangas. Brady has 76 points on the year for that's 30 goals and 46 assists. Daniel Hallinan, the senior forward, has 39 goals, led the team in goals for 31 assists for 70 points. And his brother Lance Hallinan had 21 goals, 22 assists for 43 points. And then a little bit further down the list, the junior defender Bennett Hallinan had 15 points on 4 goals and 11 assists. So a couple of Hallinans there leading the way for the Tigers. The Tigers also had 2 goalies that kind of split time this season. One was senior Evan Guyan. He was 11-0-1 on the year. He had a 1.76 goals against average and a 919 save percentage. The other goalie is Lincoln Truax, played 15 games. He went 9-4-1 on the year. He had a 227 goals against average and a 904 save percentage. Each of those 2 goalies had 3 shutouts on the year. That is the Delano Tigers, the 2 seed out of Section 2A in Class Single A. The 3 seed is out of Section 8A. It is the War Road Warriors. They played again 3 like the other teams, 3 games here in these sections. They played Park Rapids in the first round. That game was 16-0. The second game of sections was an 8-1 win over Thief River Falls. And then the section championship was a 3-0 win over Detroit Lakes. The War Road Warriors enter the state tournament with a record of 22-5-1. They have 4.71 goals for per game. They have a 1.64 goals against per game. Their power play is operating at 34.1%, which is massive heading into the state tournament this late into the season. They are 31 for 91 on the year. The penalty kill is 94 for 102. They've only allowed 8 goals while they have been shorthanded. That penalty kill is operating at 92.2% on the year, which again is massive going into the state tournament here. Gavin Anderson leads the Warriors in points. He's got 30 goals and 33 assists for 63 points. Ryan Shagaby is second in the team in points with 51 after putting up 21 goals and 30 assists. The goaltending leaders, Patrick Kennedy went 6-0 this year. The senior got into 6 games. He had a goals against average of 0.65 with a .956 save percentage and 2 shutouts. But the junior goaltender, Finn Hansen, he ended up going 16-5-1 on the year. He had a 1.59 goals against average and a .927 save percentage with 5 total shutouts. So the two goaltenders combined for 7 shutouts on the year. That is the Warroad Warriors, the 3 seed in Class Single A. The 4 seed is another one where they line up with the section number. The 4 seed is out of Section 4A, the Matamidi Zephyrs. They played St. Paul in the first round, winning 11-0. They took down Hastings in the second round, winning 5-1. And then they took down Chisago Lakes, winning 7-1 in the section finals. The Zephyrs so far this year come into the state tournament with a record of 17-9-2. They've got a 3.86 goals for per game. They're allowing 2.61 goals against per game, and their power play is operating at a 21.7% rate. They have scored 13 power play goals on 60 opportunities. The penalty kill has been out there 70 times so far this year. They have killed off 51 of those 70 chances. That is a 72.9% success rate on the penalty kill. Devin O'Donnell led the team in points this season. He had 15 goals, 18 assists for 33 points. Vinny Redpath was second on the team in points with 16 goals. He led the team in goals, and he had 14 assists for 30 points. Jackson Chesek led the team in the goaltending department. He went 16-9-2 on the year with a 2.69 goals against average and a 9.14 save percentage. He also had a shutout in there as well. That is the Matamidi Zephyrs, the 4 seed out of Section 4A here in Class Single A. The 5 seed here, again, also lining up with their section number, out of Section 5A is St. Cloud Cathedral. They took down Princeton 11-2 in the first round of the Section 5A playoffs. In the semifinals, they took down Sauk Rapids Rice 7-2, and they beat Monticello 3-1 in the section championship. St. Cloud Cathedral, again, they were runners-up last year. They won it the year before that, so they have some high expectations here going into the state tournament. They come in to said state tournament with a 17-11 record on the year. They're averaging 4 goals even per game. The goals against average is 2.79 per game, and the power play is 24.1%. That's 26 goals on 108 opportunities. The penalty kill is sitting at 80.8%. That is 62 kills out of 73 opportunities. St. Cloud's leading scorer this year was Bo Schmidt. He had 23 goals on 28 assists for 51 points. Senior defender Griffin Sturm was second in the team in points. He had 18 goals on 26 assists for 44 points, while Brandon White rounded out the top 3. He was a freshman forward this year, 13 goals, 24 assists for 37 points. In the goaltending department, both goaltenders played a decent amount, but Hunter Moreland got in more games. He went 13-6 on the year. He had a 2.72 goals against average and a 9.07 save percentage. He had one shutout on the year. And he did, again, split a little bit of time here with Blake Kaiser. Kaiser went 4-5-0 on the year. He had a 2.76 goals against average and an 8.80 save percentage. That is the St. Cloud Cathedral Crusaders, the 5 seed in the Class A state tournament. The 6 seed is Northern Lakes. They are out of Section 6A. They beat Breckenridge Wahpeton 6-0 in the 6A quarterfinals. In the semifinals, they beat Wilmer 6-0, and they took down Sartell 3-2 in overtime in the Section 6A finals. They come in with a record of 17-10-1 on the year, and like the Crusaders out of Section 5, they're also averaging exactly 4 goals per game. They are allowing 2.57 goals against per game, and their power play is sitting at 28.8%. That is 17 goals on 59 opportunities. The penalty kill is 81.8%, killing off 63 out of 77 penalty kill opportunities. The leading scorers here is junior Josiah Ryer, 19 goals, 25 assists for 44 points. Parker Fulton is 22 goals, 19 assists for 41 points. That he was the goal leading scorer on the team. And then Jacob Peterson rounds out the top 3 with 12 goals, 13 assists for 25 points. Sam Suha got the most goals here. Not most goals. He got the most goaltending time here for Northern Lakes. He went 14-10-1 on the year. He had 5 total shutouts. He had a 2.45 goals against average and a 9.17 save percentage. That is the Northern Lakes Lightning out of Section 6A. On to the 7 seed, Section 3A champs. I ended up broadcasting a couple of these Section 3A games, so I'm very familiar with this section and with this team. Mankato West, the Mankato West Scarlets win Section 3A. They beat Fairmont 13-0 in the quarterfinals. They then took on Mankato East, their crosstown rivals, and won 3-2 before taking on Laverne and winning a 2-1 game in triple overtime. Ended up playing almost 6 full periods before they found a winner of that one. They come into the state tournament with a 19-7-2 record. They're averaging 4.61 goals for per game, 2.07 goals against per game, with a power play at 25% even. They're averaging, they had 27 goals on 108 opportunities. The penalty kill was at 83.2%. That is 94 kills on 113 opportunities. The player stats here, the leaders on this team was Jacob Tosh. He had 20 goals, 34 assists for 54 points. Keaton Dorzik had 18 goals, 25 assists for 43 points. And Grady Schmidt had 15 goals, 28 assists for 43 points as well. On the goaltending side, they also had 2 goaltenders split a lot of the games. Blake Brecky had 10 wins, 5 losses, and 1 tie with a 2.02 goals against average and a 9.28 save percentage with 3 shutouts. Mason Schreiber had 9 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie with a 1.81 goals against average and a 9.31 save percentage. he also had 3 shutouts on the year. The 8 seed, the final team that we are going to cover here in Class A, is the Section 1A champion. That is the Dodge County Wildcats. They beat Winona 6-1 in the Section 1A quarterfinals. Then Waseca 4-3 in overtime. And then they took down the dominant force, it feels like, in the last few years of the state tournament, or at least in the last few years of Section 1A, Northfield 4-2. It feels like Northfield had been to the state tournament a lot out of Section 1A recently, and so Dodge County broke that run by Northfield. Dodge County comes in with a record of 19-8-1 on the season. They're a 4.07 goals for per game. They have 2.75 goals against per game. Their power play is 22.3% on the year. That is 21 of 94. While the penalty kill is 88.2%. That is 82 out of 93. In terms of the leading scorers, Gabe Cautionet is the leading point getter with 28 goals, 33 assists for 61 points. Cameron Koch has 20 goals, 26 assists for 46 points. And Nolan Steele has 18 goals, 28 assists for 46 points. So the top line there playing real well for Dodge County. On the goaltending side, they had 2 goaltenders get quite a bit of experience here. Parker Kinsley had 6 wins, 2 losses on the year with a 3.17 goals against average, an 8.63 save percentage, and a shutout. But Wes Wegner got the majority of games with 13 wins, 6 losses, 1 tie. He had a 2.59 goals against average and an 8.96 save percentage. He also had 3 shutouts on the season. So those are the 8 teams here in the Class A tournament. We will go over now to my bracket. Again, I know you can't see anything, but we will go through this as we unveil the overall bracket here. So the first game of the matchup here, first matchup of the tournament here, is the 1 seed Hibbing Chisholm versus the 8 seed Dodge County. I have Hibbing Chisholm beating Dodge County in this matchup 5-1. So I've got Hibbing Chisholm moving on. Dodge County goes to Mariucci to play in the consolation bracket. I just think that Hibbing Chisholm is just a better team this year, and they are the 1 seed for a reason. They've been, up there as one of the top 2 teams in the state for Class A the entire season, and I think they're going to continue that at the very least into the first round of the state tournament. Moving on here to the second matchup. It's St. Cloud Cathedral versus Matamidi in the second game. I have, that is the 4 seed Matamidi Zephyrs and the 5 seed St. Cloud Cathedral Crusaders. I have the 5 seed St. Cloud Cathedral Crusaders to upset the Matamidi Zephyrs 4-3 in overtime. Again, I think just the fact that I think that they have the more recent experience, I think that is going to carry them into the second round. St. Cloud into the second round. The second or third matchup here, apologize for that. Just had a little tickle in my throat. The third matchup here is the Delano Tigers versus the Mankato West Scarlet. I think that Delano is just way too good of a team this year. I really, really like Delano so far. I do think Section 2A is the best section in Class Single A. They just have the most depth. So I do think that they had a harder, probably the hardest route to it, just with every matchup being a pretty good team at least. So I think Delano ends up winning that game 7-0. And then the final matchup here is Northern Lakes versus Warroad. And I do think Warroad is the better team in this matchup. But I think this game is going to be close because I feel like this game, this 3 versus 6 matchup, it always ends up being close for whatever reason. And so I still think Warroad's going to win, but I think it's going to be a final score of 2-1. I think that they just end up not being full, it'll be the last game of the day too, I believe on Wednesday. I just think it's going to be a closer one, at least score wise. Warroad might dominate in terms of the play, but I think in terms of the score, it's going to be a pretty close matchup. We will do the entire the consolation bracket. There is no 8th place game, so it is just the consolation semifinals and then the consolation championship. We'll do that entire side first, and then we'll move back over to the winner side. So we'll go over the 2 consolation semifinal scores. The first one being a Matamidi versus Dodge County game. I have in this one, let's see, hold on. Sorry, real quick. Sorry. Pulling everything up here. I have Matamidi winning this game 5-0 here over Dodge County. And I have Dodge County's season ending in the state tournament, the consolation semifinals. Still a good season, a really good season by Dodge County, but I just think Matamidi again is just the better team on paper, and I think they win this game. That leaves us with the 6 seed versus the 7 seed, Northern Lakes versus Mankato West. Again, I really do like this Mankato West team. They were able to pull it out in triple overtime. They were just resilient all the way through. They were down, I believe it was either they were down twice or they were down 2-0 in that section semifinal game to Mankato West, and ended up winning it with just a few minutes remaining in regulation. So I have Mankato West beating Northern Lakes by a final score of 4-2. That leads us up to the consolation championship, where I have this being a very close game. I have this as a 1-0 win for Mankato West. I've got Mankato West winning this game 1-0 and taking home the conference or the consolation championship here at the state tournament. On the winner side here, on the right side of the bracket, the first matchup, we've got the 1 seed Hibbing Chisholm versus the 5 seed St. Cloud Cathedral Crusaders. I've got this game being, I think, a little bit wider of a win here than, and I've got the upset here too with St. Cloud Cathedral winning by a final score of 4-1. So we've got a 4-1 win here for the Crusaders as they go back to their 3rd straight their third straight win or third straight state championship here in 2026. I also have then Delano versus Warroad. And again, I do think that this is going to be a very good game. I think either one of these two teams could very well win the state championship, but I have the 2 seed Delano Tigers winning in double overtime 3-2. That means that our third place game is Hibbing Chisholm versus Warroad. I have that game going to the Warroad Warriors by a final score of 3-0, as they end up being the third place team here in Class Single A. But on to the championship. I've got the 5 seed St. Cloud Cathedral Crusaders versus the 2 seed Delano Tigers. Who do I have for this one? Again, I've been singing their praises all day so far in this episode. I think the winner of Class Single A is the Delano Tigers. I think they take down the St. Cloud Cathedral by a final score of 5-1. So Delano wins it all. St. Cloud Cathedral is the runner-up, second place, and the Warroad Warriors take home third place in Class Single A. All right, moving on to the Double A side of the state tournament here. We have, again, 8 teams made it. We'll go through them 1 through 8 and just similar setup to what we did for Class Single A here. The number 1 seed in Class AA was the Minnetonka Skippers out of Section 2 AA. They beat Chaska 8-0 in the Section 2 AA quarterfinals. They moved on and beat Eden Prairie 4-1 in the semis, and Chanhassen 5-2 in the finals in a rematch of the Section 2 AA championship from last year as well. They are now 24-2-2 on the season. They've been an absolute wagon all year long, scoring 4.64 goals for per game, giving up 1.36 goals against per game. Their power play is sitting at 22.9%, which is 16 out of 70. Their penalty kill is 79.3%, which is 73 kills on 92 opportunities. The leading scorers here for the Skippers is Cash Hardy. He had 16 goals, 15 assists for 31 points. Max Aronson had 15 goals, 16 assists for 31 points as well. And then Ethan Sturgis had 14 goals, 15 assists for 29 points. Those are, or excuse me, then I'll go on to the goaltenders. Forgive me. They had Chase Jurdy, went 17-2-1 on the season. He had a 1.56 goals against average, a 9.27 save percentage with 6 shutouts. And then Evan Enick played only 8 games, but he went 7-0-1, did not lose a game this year. And he had a 0.72 goals against average, a 9.55 save percentage. And in those 8 games that he played, he had 5 total shutouts. So I think that Minnetonka feels confident rolling either goaltender in the state tournament at this point. Moorhead is the 2 seed out of Section 8 AA. They beat Alexandria 8-0 in the quarterfinals. They beat Bemidji, they beat Alexandria 10-0. They beat Bemidji 8-0 in the semis. Then they took down Elk River 5-1 in the Section 8 AA championship. They are currently 24-3-1. They are, as a reminder too, the defending state champions out of Class AA. They are averaging 6 goals per game this season, 2.29 goals against per game. Their power play is 35.5% on the year. That's 33 out of 93 opportunities. The penalty kill is 82.3%, which is 65 for 79. In terms of their skaters, they had a powerhouse this year. Tyden Bergensen led the team in scoring with 27 goals, 48 assists, and 75 points. Zach Zimmerman had 23 goals, 37 assists for 60 points. Brandon Mickelson had 21 goals, 38 assists for 59 points. And tied with him for 59 points was Max Cullen with 24, 34 for 59. The goaltenders here, Will Arnold got the majority of the starts here. He went 23-1. That is 20 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie. He had a .225 goals against average and an .890 save percentage with also 5 shutouts. That is the Moorhead Spuds, the 2 seed out of Section 8 AA. Edina comes in at the 3 seed out of Section 6 AA. Everybody's favorite team here in the state of hockey. Maybe favorite team to root against here in the state of hockey. They took on Robbinsdale Armstrong Cooper, won 6-0 in the Section 6 AA quarterfinals. They beat Academy of Holy Angels in overtime in the semifinals, 3-2. And then they beat Wayzata in the finals, 3-1. They come in with a record of 21-6-1. They're averaging 4.14 goals for per game with a 2.43 goals against per game average here. The power play is 26.7%. That is 23 of 86. The penalty kill is 75.8%, 69 of 91 on the season. The leading scorers here are, the top leading scorer here is Tucker Johnson, 16 of 44 for 60 points. Bowden McConnell led the team in goals. He was 33 goals for 21 assists and 54 points. Becker Wenkus was third on the team. He had 10 goals, 25 assists for 35 points. On the goaltending side, they had Chase Beauregard had a record of 15-4-1 on the year. He had a 2.21 goals against average, a .924 save percentage with 2 shutouts. Wyatt Spinder also played a couple of games. He went 6-2 on the season with a 2.60 goals against average and an .899 save percentage with 1 shutout. Those are the Edina Hornets, the 3 seed in the Class A tournament. Rosemont comes in at the 4 seed out of Section 3 AA. They took down Apple Valley Burnsville 5-0 in the quarterfinals. They took down Eastview 4-0 in the semis. And then St. Thomas Academy 3-2 in the finals. They come in with a record of 23-4-1 on the year. They have a 4.36 goals for per game. They have 1.79 goals against per game. Their power play is sitting at a whopping 32.3%. That is 21 of 65. The penalty kill is 88.2%. That's 67 for 76 on the year. The leading scorers here for the Rosemont Irish are Connor Schubert. He's got 19 goals, 22 assists for 41 points. Gavin McNeil, 13 goals, 27 assists for 40 points. And Cade Sherman also has 19 goals, tied with Connor Schubert, but he has 18 assists for 37 points. In net, they had actually 3 goaltenders play quite a few games here. Sam Clements went 8-2-0 on the year. He had a 1.85 goals against average, a 9.25 save percentage, and 1 shutout. Drew Sherman had 9 wins, 2 losses, and a tie. He had a 1.77 goals against average with a 9.36 save percentage. He also had 3 shutouts. And then Aiden Finn got 6 wins with 0 losses and 0 ties, and a 1.48 goals against average and a 9.41 save percentage. He also recorded a shutout. Again, Rosemont is coming up massive in that goaltender category there. As they've got 3 goaltenders that I feel like they're all comfortable with in net, and that's a massive piece of this, is just being comfortable with your goaltenders. In the 5 seed is Grand Rapids, the Thunderhawks, out of Section 7 AA. They took down Northern Edge 11-0, then Forest Lake 5-0 in the semis, and then Rockridge 4-1. They, in their 3 section games, they outscored opponents 20 goals, 4-1 goal against in 3 games. On the season, they're 15-12-1. They've got 4.11 goals for per game, with 3.04 goals against per game. Their power play is sitting at a massive 42.2%. 35 goals for on the power play out of 83 opportunities. Their penalty kill is 76.3%, which is 58 out of 76. Again, I feel like a massive key to this team is do not go to the box against this team, and otherwise they are almost at a 50-50 chance of scoring on the power play. Can't imagine what a 5-on-3 power play looks like for them, or what that percentage is this year. Seth Carlson is their leading scorer. He's got 20 goals, 23 assists for 43 points. Ander Rahala has 20 goals for 21 assists and 41 points. Jameson Duell has 14 goals, 23 assists for 37 points on the year. Due to some injuries, they actually had 4 goaltenders record wins this season. We'll go over a couple of them here. Luke Sherlock had 10 wins, 5 losses. He had 2.53 goals against average, a 9.11 save percentage, and 3 shutouts. Levi Westby had 2 wins, 4 losses on the year. He had a 3.11 goals against average and an 8.80 save percentage. He had a shutout as well. Grant Olson had 1 win, 3 losses, and a tie. He had a 3.53 goals against average with an 8.56 save percentage and a shutout. And finally, the last goaltender, Drew Skorchewski, had 2 wins, 0 losses, and 0 ties. He had a 3.75 goals against average and an 8.51 save percentage. That is the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks out of Section 7A. They are the 5 seed. The Andover Huskies are the 6 seed out of Section 5 AA. They took down Totino Grace 2-0. Then they beat the 1 seed in their section, Maple Grove, 3-2 in overtime, before taking down the 3 seed Centennial 9-5 in the section finals. They come in with a record of 11-14-3 on the year. They had a 3.57 goals for per game average. They had a 3.79 goals against per game average. Their power play percent is 27.3. That is 27 out of 99 opportunities. The penalty kill is 69.2%. They've killed off 54 penalty kills on 78 opportunities. So far this season, their leading scorer is Camden Langfeld. He has 20 goals on 35 assists for 55 points. Chase Nadeau is second on the team in points with 6 goals, 25 assists for 31 total. Brody Peterson is third with 18 goals, 11 assists, and 29 points. Wyatt Reimer got the majority of starts. He went 8-12-2 on the year. He had a .361 goals against average, an .873 save percentage, and he recorded a shutout. The Andover Huskies are the 6th seed out of Section 5 AA. The 7th seed out of Section 1 AA is Lakeville South. We got another team here in first one in AA. That's the crosstown rival that took on their crosstown rival on their way to the state tournament. They took on Rochester Mayo, winning 6-1 in the Section 1 AA quarterfinals. Then took on their crosstown rival Lakeville North in the semis, winning that one 6-1, and Farmington winning that one 3-1. So winning 15-3 in 3 games across the Section 1 AA tournament. This year they come into the state tournament with a record of 14-11-2. They have a .375 goals for per game. Their goals against per game is .282. The power play is 24.0%. That's 18 goals on 75 opportunities. The penalty kill is 87.7%. That's 57 kills on 65 opportunities. On to the team leaders here. Carter Ernst is 19 goals, 29 assists for 48 points on the year. And then Rowan Ziley has 20 goals, 12 assists for 32 points. Calvin O'Reilly has 20 goals, 11 assists for 31 points. Down at the goaltender position here, Keaton LeGrand went 10-5-1 on the year. He had a .291 goals against average, an .893 save percentage, and a shutout. Sharing the crease with him was Corbin Shanley. He had a .352 record. He had a .252 goals against average. His save percentage was .889, and he had a shutout on the year as well. The Lakeville South comes in at the 7th seed out of Section 1 AA. The 8th seed is out of Section 4 AA here. That would be Gentry Academy. They took down East Ridge 6-3 in the semis. Then Hill Murray 4-2 in the East Ridge 6-3 in the quarters. Hill Murray 4-2 in the semifinals, and then White Bear Lake 3-0 in the section finals. They are 17-9-2 coming into the state tournament with a 4.57 goals for per game and a 2.68 goals against per game average. The power play here for Gentry is 28.8%. That is 23 out of 80. The penalty kill is 85.2%. That's 75 out of 88. In terms of the player stats here, Jackson Cook led the team in scoring. He had 33 goals, 26 assists for 59 points. Nate Wilkie had 8 goals, 30 assists for 38 points, and that was followed up by Colin Hennis that had 12 goals, 25 assists for 37 points. In terms of the goaltending, they had 2 goaltenders play this year. Gavin Groves had 11 wins, 6 losses, and a tie. He had a .247 goals against average, an .898 save percentage, and 3 shutouts. Reef Roller had 6 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. He had a .266 goals against average and .888 save percentage. He had 2 shutouts on the season as well. Those are the 8 teams in the tournament here for Class AA. Minnetonka is the 1 seed, Moorhead the 2 seed, Edina, the 3 seed, Rosemont, the 4 seed, Grand Rapids, the 5 seed, Andover, the 6 seed, Lakeville South, the 7 seed, and Gentry Academy is the 8 seed. So we've got the matchups here as I am pulling up the bracket. The first matchup here is between the 1-seeded Minnetonka Skippers versus the 8-seed Gentry Academy Stars. Minnetonka, again, just being the 1 seed, being as dominant as they have been all season. I think they win this one. I'm going to give it to them on a 4-2 win over Gentry Academy. This next one here is Rosemont versus Grand Rapids. I have Rosemont winning by a final score of 3-0. Again, I just think Rosemont is the better team, and I think if they can stay out of the box, I think that they win this game by a few goals here. I think Grand Rapids is going to need their power play to have a chance and to show up if they want to win this game, which I do think if their power play is even given the slightest opportunity, I think they are going to have a good chance of winning this game. But Rosemont, I feel like, can be disciplined too and not take stupid penalties. Moving on here to the 2 versus 7, it is Moorhead versus Lakeville South. I have Moorhead winning in a blowout 8-1 on for this one over Lakeville South. Again, I think Moorhead is just an absolute wagon this year. I think they take this one easily over Lakeville South. The 3 versus the 6, I've got this game going into overtime. Again, the 3, like I said, the 3 versus 6 is weird in both single A and double A, I feel like. So I've got Edina still winning, but I've got it going into overtime and then winning 3-2. So I think that they will advance over Andover. Then the consolation semifinals here, I have Gentry versus Grand Rapids. I think Grand Rapids is going to win this game by a score of 3-1. So I've got Grand Rapids moving on to the consolation championship after beating Gentry 3-1. Then the 6 versus 7 game, I've got it's 8 Lakeville South versus Andover. I have Lakeville South winning that one 4-2. On to the consolation championship. I've got this game also going into overtime, and I have it also being a 3-2 win for Grand Rapids. I think Grand Rapids takes home the consolation championship, and I think that they are gonna beat Lakeville South in that one. Moving on to the winner side of the bracket, I have this top matchup. I've got Minnetonka versus Rosemont, and in not really a surprising fashion here, I have Minnetonka winning that game. I have them winning 2-0. I do think Rosemont is a very, very good team. I think any of these top 4 teams, I would not be surprised if they ended up winning the state tournament. I do want to say that. I think specifically these top 4 are all very much capable of winning the Class AA state tournament. And there's probably, of the bottom 4, there probably is a surprise team in there that's going to make a run at the state tournament. So, yeah. But I think that it's going to be a Minnetonka to the state championship. Who they will play is between Moorhead and Edina, and I have a matchup between the top two teams. I've got Moorhead beating Edina 7-5 in an absolute barn burner. So that means that I have Rosemont versus Edina in the third place game, and I do think that this is going to be a fun one, but I have Rosemont winning that game 3-0 to take home third place in the state championship or not the state championship, in the state tournament for Class AA. Moving on now to the final game. It'll be the final game of Championship Saturday, the final game of the boys high school hockey state tournament of the boys high school hockey season in the 25-26 season. It's Minnetonka versus Moorhead. Minnetonka beat Moorhead earlier in the year, and for that reason, I think this is going to be a close game. It was a close game last year between Stillwater and Moorhead. I think that Minnetonka will not defend their earlier matchup. I think Moorhead is going to defend their championship and win the Class AA state tournament by a final score of 5-4. Again, I think it's going to be close. I think it is going to be a regulation game, but I think it will be relatively high scoring as well. And the Moorhead Spuds are my 2026 Class AA boys winners, with Minnetonka getting second place and Rosemont grabbing third. All right. Thank you for watching this special episode of the 301 Show. Please, if you did like it, leave a like on the video, subscribe for more videos just like this one, as well as interviews and the pro teams here in Minnesota, the analysis for their seasons and the teams and Olympics and stuff like that. Comment down below where you agree or disagree with me on my predictions and my viewings of these high school hockey teams. Let me know who you think is going to win here in 2026 for Class A and Class AA. And we will see you this week for more content. And we should have a regularly scheduled 301 Show episode early this week. We'll see you next time. Peace.